Hey, hi, my name is Celeste, and today I'm going to be talking about marriage and the family and then divorce and its effects. So, I kind of wanted to start off with this quote that I found, and it basically is like what makes a family. And by definition, a family is a network of people who create a sense of home, share collective identity, and experience a common history and envision a similar future. And I also found this quote, and it says, "Family is family. Whether it's the one you start out with, the one you end up with, or the family you gain along the way." I really liked this quote just because, when it comes to divorce and family, your parents separating, you may not be close to one parent or the other, or you may not be close to either. So, you may just find, friends and other family that makes your family. And it doesn't have to be by blood, it can just be anyone that you meet along the way. So I wanted to dive into a little bit of the family dynamics. So understanding family dynamics. So the patterns of interactions among relatives, the roles and the relationships, and the various factors that shape their interactions. That's just by definition what family dynamics means. So close family relationships result in better health and well-being, along with lower rates of depression and disease. This isn't always the case in some families. So like we're going to jump into divorce. A good family dynamic may not be your ideal family dynamic. I mean, there's many different types. There's functional families and dysfunctional families. And 22 million children live in a single parent home. This can be not being raised with two parents, divorce, separation, etc. So I want to dive into the psychological effects on children. Divorce can have many effects on children. And some of them are that kids struggle the most in the first year or two of the parent separation. This can be caused due to not really fully understanding or comprehending their parent separation. Children also may experience distress, anger, anxiety, and disbelief. This can be caused due to not, like I said earlier, not really understanding what divorce really means and their parents not being together. Um, Kids may experience emotional stress due to their parents' divorce, and a couple of the age groups that may experience different things. So, young children may just not fully understand because they're too young to really comprehend what divorce and separated parents really mean. Middle-aged children tend to worry that it is their fault. They may act out and believe that, oh, my parents got divorced because of me and the way that I'm acting. And teenagers typically become angry or upset about the divorce and the changes that come with it. So there's some risks for family. So divorce can cause many changes to family dynamics, such as the addition of step parents and step siblings can be a huge change and cause changes in children because they may just not be used to having another parent or another sibling that isn't by blood, and maybe they haven't fully comprehended the divorce yet. So failure rate is very high in second marriages. So children typically will experience more than one divorce because after a parent gets divorced for the first time, remarries, their chances of getting divorced again is way higher. So there are also some mental health and behavioral problems that affect children due to divorce. So divorce can increase the risk to mental illness in children, such as an increase in anxiety and depression. And children may also experience behavioral problems such as impulsive behavior or delinquency. And parents also may find their children struggling in school, maybe just not being able to fully be attentive in school, maybe stressing about their parents' divorce. There's so many factors that come into play that affects the children. So some things to help kids adjust to divorce. So intense conflict between parents can cause distress. So co-parenting is definitely can make a huge difference between the children and the parents. Having problems and always hearing fighting and stuff and just not having a good co-parent can be really tough on children and their mental health because, they're already upset about their parents' divorce, so hearing them fight all the time may not help them any better. Um, avoid putting children in the middle. This is such a big factor when it comes to divorce because by personal experience, being put in the middle between your parents' problems is never a good feeling and stuff. So this can cause so many effects on children. This can cause mental illness, this can cause anxiety, this can cause depression because when parents do this, kids may tend to feel like this is their fault by putting their kids in the middle. So definitely avoid putting children in the middle can help kids adjust to this. Maintaining healthy relationships. So just having good relationships with your children, because some children may experience the loss of a mother, a loss of a father due to this. It is by research higher to lose. It's often more the father that tend to walk away when their parents get divorced. Another thing to help kids adjust is empower your children, make them feel like they're meaningful, make them feel loved, that they're cared for because, they're probably already struggling um by themselves enough. So just giving your children that love and support can go so far and can help kids adjust to divorce in so many ways. Another big thing is just still having rules and boundaries. Although like your parents are divorced, you still want to have consistent discipline, so setting out rules and boundaries for your children and just making sure your children feel safe. This is another huge thing because I feel like some children may feel like they're alone in this process, even though because their parents are probably so focused on the divorce and fighting and all these other problems that this may cause the child to feel alone and not safe. So making your child feel safe is also a huge thing when adjusting kids to divorce. So I have this graph and it was on the article and I just really liked it because you can see here that like the kid is hugging her mom and the parents are talking. Like I just really think that like maintaining a healthy relationship with like your parents and your child is like a really big thing. And then it just says consistent discipline, not putting kids in the middle, co-parent peacefully, monitor adolescents closely. This is a huge one too because you may not realize that your kid is struggling, so maybe monitoring them and watching their behavior can go a long way. Teaching specific coping skills and empowering your child. So, how I can relate this to some of the things that we learned about in this chapter was I learned that there is an increase in single parent homes, and we talked about that this may be caused due to the pressure from our society to get married early on, resulting in divorce. So, people now in our generation right now, people tend to get married early because they feel like that's just so like socially normal. So they get married early on and end up not being ready for marriage. So they get divorced later on. Many other factors that we talked about, lack of communication, not having positive messages, not looking at each other in positive ways, almost like resenting each other. Like all of these things can cause divorce. And some other things that we talked about all the effects on children. So after divorce, like I talked about, children may experience depression, anxiety, um, nightmares, even dependency. Children may be dependent on one parent or the other, or just dependent on both. This can be a really big change to children, so they may experience behavioral issues, delinquent problems, and many other mental or physical issues. Here are my references. This topic was very interesting to me. I chose to do divorce and the effects because I felt like I could relate to it and all of the effects that it had that I learned about and I researched on, almost like I could have related it to my own experience. So thank you for listening.